All right, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages, it's that time once again. It's Mild's Culture Plate. I'm your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and today is May 24th, 2024, and it's kind of officially Memorial Day weekend. And I intended to do this stream a couple weeks ago for Mother's Day, and I put it off, I put it off, and I wanted to do a single mom special. I had time to do it tonight finally. And then over the past couple of days, uh, we unfortunately in the internet community have had one of our own uh, wreck his damn life. And I touched on this a little bit the other night on my show, but since then, insanity has happened to the man, and I'm just gonna come right out and say this, I am not gonna be drinking on tonight's stream. I think it's in bad taste because one of the things I do wanna talk about is addiction. I've been in some different chats and in some different areas online that have been discussing the events that have been going on in the life of Nick Rekieta, and I've kinda come to the conclusion that one thing I wanted to do is have a more in-depth conversation, at least on my show, about addiction. So I'm going to start off with a small conversation about that. A couple of show notes because this is a TPP stream, one of my special streams. From time to time to squeeze these kind of things in, I need to work around my own dinner. As such, I will be having dinner delivered at some point during the show. Uh, because of that, I will be taking a few commercial breaks, a few small breaks, about every 15 or so minutes. And yeah, so I've got to get a little bit of food in me while we stream, but I'm gonna break some things up in order to do that. And so I do want to talk about addiction, and I'm definitely going to talk about the conversations that the internet was having about single moms on Mother's Day and some of the conversations that have been had since then. Please feel free to come into the chat and say hello. I will do my best to try to show some of the chat on the screen. It shows we are live on all 6 platforms. So I should be on YouTube, Twitch, Locals, Rumble, Facebook, and X. It does not give me a live viewer count for X. I am trying the Rumble Studio again. I'm hoping some of the audio issues I was having with Rumble Studio have been fixed to some degree. So we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. But yes, if you're not familiar with Nick Rekieta, which I'm pretty sure everyone who could potentially be in my audience knows exactly who Nick Rekieta is, and I've kind of built some of my audience as a sub audience of his audience. So I find it, you know, most people have at least heard of Nick Rekieta that would even be able to find my channel here. He's a person that kind of does a similar thing to what I do. He does it from a law gimmick. He talks about different events in society, different legal cases that are happening. Touches on the Supreme Court quite a bit. Talks about Trump quite a bit. He's most popularly famous for the for the Kyle Rittenhouse and Johnny Depp trials. And at some point, I did this little complaint on Wednesday that I really saw this change in his behavior. And during that time, there were a lot of us that were willing to kind of run defense for him. and kind of naysay people who were concerned about him. And in fact, I did a whole stream about, why I thought, um, you know, parasocial relationships weren't really a big deal, why certain lifestyles, certain degenerate behaviors are okay in moderation. And you know, I things have just gotten to the point where there's not a whole lot of defending a person can do. But one thing I will say is a person having dealt with addiction myself, I've dealt with, we've had conversations here on the show about my unhealthy relationship with food for one. And again, I'm not comparing being fat to what's going on in Minnesota today. No, I've also been, in a short term, I was addicted to some heavy drugs. There was a point in my life where I was drinking so much that I was waking up at friends' houses, stuck to the carpet in my own vomit. Uh, don't even really know how I got there. I was being woke up by, friends' wives. Like, why are you in our home? Why are you stuck to the carpet and vomit? So definitely there are some, dangerous things that can happen when a person succumbs to certain addictions. But, one thing is for sure, addiction is a coping mechanism. And until you fix the problems with your decision making, the problems with your life, it's kind of hard to get out of that. As such, we're going to talk a little bit about what Nick Ricade is facing. Let me go ahead and bring this up here. Okay. Why is this not being shown? Okay, there we go. All right. I don't know how well you can see that. Here we go. This is the search warrant here, or the results of the search warrant. The statement of probable cause that was filed with the court. Your complainant, a licensed police officer employed by the Candiota County Sheriff's Office. Okay, we're not going to dox his address. Sorry. Nicholas Ricadus was stopped by law enforcement upon knocking on the door. A juvenile female opened the door and wouldn't let them in. Nick would not provide the door code upon entry. Nick's wife and April M. Holt. Now, if you're not familiar with April M. Holt, she is the wife of the host of Steel Toe Morning Show, who became friends with the Ricadas. He and his wife became friends with the Ricadas about 6 months ago when Nick Ricada did his Minnesota stand-up show. They met at the stand-up show. They became good friends. About 7-ish weeks ago, April left Aaron, and it is assumed that she has been living with the Ricadas. And it's so Aaron Imholt has been doing a lot of shows recently about his interactions with the Ricadas and his ex-wife, or his soon-to-be ex-wife, and some of the dangerous things he saw, some of the things he didn't agree with, some of the behaviors, the addictions. Hey, we got Billdozer74 in the chat over on Rumble. There we go. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Toasting you with water today. All right. So he's had a lot to say about this, because it's ending his marriage. Quite literally, the party lifestyle is ending his marriage, and the influence of the party in the Ricada household is ending Aaron and Holt's marriage. And so April M. Holt and Kayla were there with four of the 5 Ricada children. Officers noted the home was extremely cluttered. There were clothes everywhere, dirty dishes, dust, and an overall dirty home. Now, one thing it's important, a lot of questions were raised about who sent the cops to the Ricada household. Well, we have this screenshot here. The pastor with the Evangelical Covenant Church, pastor of the Ricadas, had walked into the Candiahohe County Sheriff's Office and gave a mandatory report of potentially children being in danger. And so this is why the cops were called to the Ricada home. So the following items were located in the master bedroom: yellow snort tube positive for cocaine, a black vial with white substance that tested positive for cocaine, weighed 2.2 grams, two credit cards issued to April Imholt, 22 caliber spent shell casings on the floor of the nightstand in the master bedroom, an AR with several magazines and loose ammunition, a glass container with a metal filter and grinder tested positive for cocaine, bag with cards and a dollar bill that tested positive for cocaine, a corner cut baggie with white powder tested positive for cocaine and weighed 18.96 grams. Three small baggies tested positive for cocaine and weighed 5.49 grams. Eight colored tablets that tested positive for ketamine. A digital scale that tested positive for cocaine. Metal pan with white powder tested positive for cocaine. Two snort tubes, two metal cutters tested positive for cocaine. $100 bill tested positive for cocaine. White bag with powder substance that tested positive for cocaine. A cocaine scooper. Two baggies within a baggie with a funnel and an unknown brown substance. Not sure why that's on here. Additional firearms and ammunition. Yes, yes, Demon's Wrath over on Rumble. Good seeing you, brother. Yeah, snorting through a Benny. Yeah, $100 bill. Just keep $100 bill just sitting on the dresser. Cheers. Oh, I guess that was the closet. Yeah. The total amount of measurable cocaine in the master bedroom was 26.67 grams with packaging. Cocaine is a Schedule 2 controlled substance. Ketamine is a Schedule 1 controlled substance. Um, Nicholas indicated that he sleeps in the master bedroom with Kayla. He indicated that April Imholt was at the home visiting. Nicholas and Kayla were placed under arrest. While being placed under arrest, they noted several injuries to the arms of Nick that appeared consistent with sores that are common with controlled substance users. They were transported to jail. Then he was again read his Miranda rights without an attorney. Oh, agreed to speak without an attorney. He refused to answer any questions regarding cocaine or other controlled substances. He indicated that he lives in the residence. He stays in the master bedroom with Kayla. April Imholt was visiting and does not live at the residence. Hmm. That's certainly not what Aaron has been reporting and what we've been hearing. While being booked into the jail, Kayla requested that her prescription medication be brought to her. Upon reviewing the prescription bottles, jail staff found two unknown pills and gummies in one of the bottles. These items did not match the prescription. Okay. So the Ricadas had court today for arraignment. And ultimately, they were given a choice of either $50,000 bail or a conditional release in which they would be placed on uh, what amounts to probation, supervised release, in which they could be randomly drug tested at any time and must be clean of all drug and alcohol substances, and no firearms, and must maintain lawfulness. From what I hear, they're facing 25 years for the drug charges and up to a year apiece for the gun charges. And at the arraignment today, it was revealed that they are also facing child endangerment charges up to a year. You know, so they're facing, 27 years apiece, but being that they are first time offenders, it is doubtful that they will do that much time. Their court dates, their court dates are set for August. Got Cool Frog over on Rumble in the chat. Good seeing you. Welcome and peace to you as well. So, this sucks, and there are a lot of people on the internet who are, you know, enjoying the train wreck, enjoying the shit show to some degree, and they're making a lot of fun of it, and they're grifting off of it, and they're making jokes, and I get it. Sometimes, especially when someone you care about is going through something rough, the best thing you can do is have some gallows humor, and I definitely think Aaron Imholt has gallows humor. There are definitely some people who used to be close friends with Nick Rekieta, at least online, which we'll get into that here in a minute. And other people who've collaborated with Nick Rekieta are taking victory laps, and it's sad. It's sad to take victory laps, but at the same time, I think it would be hard to say that anyone who has been paying attention has been saying for a long time something needs to change in Nick Rekieta's life. He's clearly not been okay for a very long time, and those of us who have been persistent, yeah, Cool Frog. Sad and disturbed as someone who's gone through addiction that he gets the help he needs. Yes, me as well. Me as well. Same thing. And then, yeah, Bulldozer also hate that it's happening, but maybe it will get him to get help. We could hope. Um, One of the things I wanted to talk about was the likelihood that he would get help. I've been hearing a lot of people speculate, and this is all speculation, and I hate to talk about speculation and make a big deal about speculation, but I do think it's important. And my apologies for the dog barking. That's probably my dinner arriving. I'll have to go up and get it here in a little bit. And I've got some kind of commercials to play during the commercial break to kind of make a little light of the situation. Gallows humor and all. I hate doing gallows humor, but at the same time, if we can't laugh at the unfortunate things in life, then what the fuck can we laugh at, right? We then we're laughing at we're laughing at the obvious, which is hack shit to do, right? It's Stephen Colbert shit to do. So I've decided, when I do my little commercial breaks, when I need to step away from the computer for just a couple minutes, a few times throughout the night, I'm gonna play some '90s anti-drug PSAs. So bear with me, folks. Bear with me. I'm gonna try to hang on through all this. So yeah, I wanted to address whether or not what the likelihood of a situation like this changing a person's life. It's definitely going to change his life, but the question is he going to get help? Is this going to help? Is this going to make him get better? And having dealt with addiction myself and having lived with people who have gone through this disease and really gone through the rough ends of the disease. And I addressed a similar situation last year. You cannot help a person until they are ready to help themselves. And even facing consequences like this, someone deep enough in their addiction can be in denial. And so, one of the first PSAs I want to play, one of the first PSAs I wanna play. I'm not gonna leave the computer just yet, but I saw this and I thought it very fitting of this situation, so I do wanna play it real quick because it's relevant to the conversation here.
I do coke so I can work longer, so I can earn more, so I can do more coke, so I can work longer, so I can earn more,
Let me know
so
if
I
you
can do
folks
more
can hear
coke,
this.
so I can work longer, so I can earn more, so I can do more coke, so I can work longer. Always chasing rain.
Okay, so you kinda get the point of that. Yeah. So whatever reason somebody uses to justify their addiction, that reason sits in their brain and they will use it to justify their addiction to anyone and everyone. It becomes the reason their life gets taken over. And as you saw in that, the guy just wants to work more. And I've heard that this is kind of one of the situations. Uh, at least one of the claims that Aaron and Holt made about Nick Rekieta is that he would make these justifications that in order to get the things he needed to do done, he would just medicate. And it's real unfortunate because, you don't want to see someone justify that. It's like there's 24 hours in a day, guy. Surely you can find time in your awake time to get the things done you need to get done. Now, he also called it a coping mechanism. Aaron Inholt said that Nick also uses it as a coping mechanism, a way to just get over the rough times, the stressful times in life. And so now thinking about this issue with potentially facing prison time, potentially having to pay for another good attorney at a time when he's already, as we saw on Monday, having issues with his lawsuit and a very, very expensive legal fees that he thought maybe he could get out of, and now he's realizing, no, it's going to be a little more of an uphill battle than he had thought. So here you have stress and then financial stress on top of it. And then now this happens, which is yet another layer of stress and another layer of financial stress. And then Cool Frog says, yeah, if he gets lucky, does not land in prison, he'll be on probation for 20 years, both of them. Yeah. And typical structure of 66 months in prison for his charges. Hmm. Yep. But yeah, the 20 years probation, this is the question, we all hope that this is a wake up call to get clean, that this is a wake up call to get help. Um, but there are three paths that I think that I see someone with the personality of a Nick Rekieta. There are three paths forward. Jump back into the internet, jump right back into the life he was leading before, and try to do it without the drugs, but yet you're still going to have all the stress. You're still going to have all the scheduling and the children and I'm hoping the children, but the children right now are I've heard are with family members. I mean, a situation like this where kids are found near drugs and guns, I mean, yeah, you could wind up losing your kids, and definitely none of us wants that to happen to the Ricadas. So definitely hope he can stay clean. But yeah, jumping back into the life he had before of trying to squeeze romantic time with his wife, streaming time, uh, maintaining online communities and friendships, and maintaining a regular schedule that's Bulldozer74 says that last locals post was hopefully just lawyer talk about nothing being accurate. I must have missed a locals post. Let me see here. Let's just see what. Okay, so yes, this is new news to me. Let me do this. Let me bring this up. Let's bring this up. Why don't we? This is new to me. Sorry. Yeah, I've been busy getting this stream together, and I saw where he had posted the little funny thing earlier, but I did not see this one. About the news. So, hey, obviously a lot has happened. I'm sorry for legal purposes. It must be reiterated that the sorry is for the disruption and is in no way related to any pending legal matters. That said, please realize that nobody has a full story or picture on anything. It's possible no one ever will. Nothing reported is accurate, and that's not their fault. I've seen so many supportive messages, and thank you for that. I'll still be doing stuff. I'm home now. Stay tuned for announcements. Okay, so as I was saying, there's three ways to go. There's one, which is again live in denial and continue like nothing has happened. There's taking a break and going and getting help, which would require not making money, not earning money, not bringing money into the household. Again, I don't know what kind of a financial situation Nick Rekieta is in. I do know that shelling out upwards of $60,000 for his attorney, Mark Randazza, in the defamation case cannot be cheap. But either way, he's going to be he's dealing with a situation where no matter what path he takes, it's going to add a whole lot of stress to his life, which all of that stress is going to add to the urge to medicate, to escape. I know, I've been there. All it takes is for one little thing to go wrong. He could be trying his damnedest to comply with this release order and trying to turn his life around. But if he's not getting help, if he's not taken out of the situation, the only thing that's there is his willpower. And I do think that there's a chance he has the willpower, but this locals post, this locals post sounds like denial to me. Now, again, I'm a third party person. Now, this is another thing I want to talk about is us third party people looking from the outside in parasocial kind of terms. And again, a lot of my information that I've heard has come from Aaron Imholty, and the Steel Toe Morning Show. And right now, that dude is pissed off at Nick Rekieta over his marriage. So he is very biased and, probably saying things that are are definitely overblown, exaggerated, may not entirely be true, but some of the things he's saying is in line with what we have seen. And when I say the things he's saying before this arrest happened, the things he was claiming he saw at the Rekieta household before this arrest happened, the things he said before this arrest happened, then this arrest happened, and we're hearing all of this information. Now he said again, Nick says in this, no one has the full story or picture on anything. Nothing reported is accurate. Well, reported by who? Because we have the police report. We have the arraignment. There are a lot of inaccuracies. I've heard several conflicting informations, pieces of information about this case. But quite frankly, some of the optimism I've seen on Twitter and locals in the comments of some of these YouTube videos. Oh, Nick's a tough guy. He's just going to bounce right back. We all pray that we all pray that that's true. But I think we all need to on some level prepare that that might not be the case. I root for you, Nick. You're out there. I root for you, brother. But this is serious. Legitimately serious. This is not something to brush off. This is not a disruption. This is not an inaccuracy. This is not Kiwi Farms making a big deal about some out of context thing you said. No, this is, dude, you seriously fucked up. And so, but why is it my job to say that? It's not. So this is why I want to talk about parasocial relationships for just a minute, because there's been a lot of mudslinging between online personalities about, well, who's really in Nick's corner and who's not. Who's grifting off this? People are grifting off this. Yeah, cool frog. Nobody just bounces back. It's a long journey. It's a very long journey. A long journey that starts with one clean day. That starts with taking accountability. This starts with going to AA and realizing what sober people do and how sober people live and how sober people look at their life. Finding exciting things out of boring things, right? Because damn it, doing drugs, drinking whiskey, going out to gay bars and partying, meeting celebrities, making a lot of money, riding around in limousines. These are all awesome fucking things. They're fun as hell. But at the end of the day, when you have 5 children at home and you and your wife look at each other and are like, we're bored, we need some excitement. It needs to be more creative than I'm going to take this pill, I'm going to do this bump of cocaine. The drugs don't make life exciting. They make the exciting things you're doing more exciting. Demons Wrath says going to gay bars is fun. Well, it is if you're Nick Ricada, Aaron Inholt, and then of course Kayla and April. It is for especially for the ladies, right? The ladies love the gay bars. And so and again, I hate to blame Kayla for this. I do. Nick has always had amazing things to say about his wife, which is why some of this is confusing. But again, some of this is also coming from Aaron Inholt, who's butthurt and may just attack a guy's wife. So I won't go there. Even Aaron Inholt said that Kayla Ricada is innocent, and I'm not going to get into the speculation and the details. My point is, what started off as a good time got scary because 4 people got together and started taking more risks, and Nick kept convincing himself that he could handle it, that he could handle things. We're all tough guys, and we are. We're all fucking tough guys. We can handle a fucking lot, but our kids can't. And that's the important thing to take away here. Our kids can't. But anyway, I was getting into why is it my business? Well, why is it anyone's business? One of the things that Joe Neerman said on Eric Hunley's stream today is that, or was it Eric Hunley himself? I think it was Eric Hunley himself, maybe. Anyway, they were talking about how, no, it was Joe. It was Joe. He was talking about how the most popular three stories in American media are the rise of the average guy into becoming a champion or warrior. And then the second most popular story is his, or well, another of those three popular stories is his downfall. And then the third is his resurrection and return to greatness. And I got to thinking, that sounds like Star Wars, right? The original Star Wars trilogy, right? You got A New Hope, Luke, the average guy, learns of this galactic civil war, decides to get involved. Empire Strikes Back is his downfall and failure. And then Return of the Jedi is his return and ultimate triumph over evil. And so we're definitely, a lot of us are watching the exciting part right now, the fall from grace, so to speak. But we're all secretly hoping for the sequel. But watching people on live streams taking super chats complain that someone else is on another live stream taking super chats for talking about the same thing because they may have a sense of humor, they may have a more lighthearted take on the tragedies that are happening because they may be joking about it. Look, Nick Ricada was one of the first people to make jokes when someone else's life is in a fucked up situation. I would like to think that even Nick himself can see a little humor in the situation. I mean, I honestly think his mugshot, his fucking mugshot, his mugshot shows that, like, he knew that this thing's gonna get out on the internet. Cool Frog says, "1 or 5 those children have to see dad's downfall." Yes, this is the thing. Is we can recognize the bad parts and the quote unquote exciting parts at the same time, the funny parts at the same time. To me, the biggest tragedy is, yes, the future of these kids is right now up in the air. I'm hoping that's what Nick has spent most of his day doing, is getting a strategy on how to keep his kids safe from here on out. Cool Frog says fat shaming. Not sure where we're going with that. But it really, everything I've ever been addicted to, I've had to completely change my lifestyle and my outlook and my ways of viewing the world in order to overcome them. And that's what Nick's going to have to do. And unfortunately, he has an alpha personality. He has an "I'm fucking right" kind of personality. Someone who's always fucking thinks they're right. Stubbornness. Kind of hard to get through to people like that. Hard to convince people like that there is another way to live. But I just want to say one more time, I hope that 2 years from now, I'm sitting here, I'm doing a stream, and I'm talking about something awesome that Nick Ricada is doing, and that he's not in prison, and that he still has his children. I hope he comes out on the other side of this with the probation, Oh, Cool Frog saying, yeah, the guy picked on everyone. Yeah. But for now, we have a guy who decided to put on a Sonichu medallion at the wrong fucking time. Anyway, so yeah, good luck to the Ricadas and the Imholts. I did see that Aaron Imholt posted something about April being out, being released without charge. So she may be getting out scot clean. This should be a huge wake up call for her. Nick Stubborn, always been the obdurate inward. Okay. Which, by the way, speaking of inward, we are on all 6 platforms: X, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Locals, and Rumble tonight. I'm going to be trying to keep up with that over the next couple streams at least, because I also am experiencing some financial stress. Having said that, here's what we'll do. We'll go into some drug PSAs. I'll come back. I'll talk a little bit more about this topic, and then we'll switch to single mothers. Let's.
Hey, Ellen, want a hit? Want to smoke a joint before trying this on?
Here you go, Ellen. You want to get high? We got some great high stick in the back.
Smoke. Smoke. Kind buds. Sexy.
You're going to love this stuff. It'll get you really high.
They said half a hit of E would be fun. They said half a hit of E would be fun. They lied. Find out the truth about drugs. Drugfreeworld.org. They said one hit wouldn't hurt. They said one hit wouldn't hurt.
They lied. Get your kids the truth about drugs.
Damn it, I didn't mute.
Drugfreeworld.org.
I didn't mute.
They said I wouldn't get hooked after the.
Okay, I'll stop that for a minute. All right. There we go. Okay, let me bring this down for a minute. Okay, so yeah, hopefully those were some interesting ads. Demon's Wrath says, not gonna lie, I did E, it was great. I've done E before. I had a great time. But let's face it, one of the things that I haven't really talked about with addiction is what I said the other day on my stream, and that is, there are a lot of substances that you don't have a problem with in moderation. The problem with addiction is knowing your limits, convincing yourself that your limits aren't your limits, and that you can reward yourself by being good, by being bad. And, I'm not going to lie, I'm eating a salad and an appetizer for dinner tonight because my food addiction hit me hard today. and I tried to reward myself by being bad, and I ate way too much for lunch. I think the chat's got a. I think maybe Rumble Studio has a little lag in the stream because when Cool Frog keeps commenting on a bunch of stuff that I'm not. I'm assuming one of those ads was about Coke. But yeah, it really this whole situation has made me not want to drink. Nick's Monday stream especially has made me not want to drink. I drank a little bit on Wednesday night, but it wasn't, I don't even think I drank enough to get me tipsy. And I'm considering whether or not I want to pick the bottle back up tomorrow. I definitely think it adds a fun element to the streams. It definitely takes some of the stage fright away from me. And again, these are all excuses one would make why I need it, and I really I don't. I just hope that on some level, in moderation, it does ease the situation and make these streams more entertaining. Having said that, all right, let's move on to single mothers now. Oh, shit started auto playing. Now we're Demon's Wrath says Coke is a drug for mugs, as we call them in the UK. High doesn't last long. It's extremely addictive, ruinously expensive, causes all kinds of overly aggressive behavior, etc., etc. Cool Frog says yes. Coke is hard to walk away from. Know your limits. I've heard a lot of people talk about heroin being so addictive that a person could be hooked for life with the first dose. That was not necessarily the case for me. Luckily, uh, heroin, methamphetamine, and ecstasy and LSD, I've only done those things one time a piece. And luckily, I had no urge to do any of them a second time. Marijuana was an extremely key part of my life from age 16 to 18. And I had my relationship with my children threatened. And then, of course, the needing to keep a job, the needing to keep clean because I was always going to family court and at any time thought that the next time I go to court, a judge is going to ask me to piss in a cup. I fucking love smoking weed though. And, I will occasionally in my adult life partake in marijuana. Now, I will say I have not done that. I've not done that since I've had my driving job because that's a huge no-no. Stevens Rass says Malcolm X had a famous quote about heroin, something to the effect that quitting heroin cold turkey in prison was easier than quitting cigarettes. Oh my God. Speaking of, speaking of, I'm Cool Frog says weed is not a drug. I know, I know that there are a lot of people on the internet very fond of marijuana. I know marijuana has a lot of beneficial properties. I know it's a natural thing, and that it doesn't impair you in the ways that other drugs do. Now, having said that, to someone with an addictive personality, right? Marijuana is like caffeine or or like nicotine. Um, it does give a person feelings of withdrawal, feelings that they can't function like they normally function. It makes people irritable when they are going through such withdrawal. And while there's definitely, the whole indica sativa, one makes you lazy, the other one makes you explorative of the world. There's something to be said for a certain segment of the weed heads out there. Now, again, I'm not talking about you, and I'm not talking about people who can function. There's a certain segment of folks out there that their drive to do their job or to get through life or to take care of their kids, or it's literally it's like the commercial we watched earlier with the guy going in a circle. It's I'm doing all these things so that when I'm done I can hit my joint. And again, I've known some people who are just a completely different person, just the biggest asshole you could ever fucking know, because they didn't have their morning hit. They didn't smoke that bowl before they left the house. And it's like once they get to that point, they have to have the bowl in the morning, the bowl at their first break at the job, the bowl at lunchtime, another bowl before you drive home. And yeah, the dependency is there. The dependency is there. So I consider it a drug, but again, technically caffeine's a drug, technically nicotine's a drug, technically alcohol's a drug. A person can become addicted to anything, right? Gambling provides the dopamine. A lot of people talk about gambling and chasing that dragon, chasing the high jackpot that you're never going to see, playing, good money after bad. Yeah, Demon's Wrath, sugar, sugar. You definitely sugar. Look at me. It took me 8 months to lose 80 pounds. It's not the same it was as a kid thinking I was having fun. Exactly. When I was trying to stop smoking weed, I was still hanging out with people that partied. I was still hanging out with a lot of people that partied all the time. And oh my god, I missed the marijuana, but mostly I missed how it made me feel at age 14, 15. And so I went from being addicted to marijuana to being addicted to risky sex. And even though I had my own apartment that I lived with roommates, I had a son and a fiance that lived across town. And I did a lot of things I'm not proud of in that apartment because the party was there. And if I couldn't get high, then at least, I would bang some random chick that my roommate brought home, or I would drink until my eyes rolled in the back of my head. It was a very scary time for me because, again, I was always chasing the feelings I had when I thought life was a party. Bulldozer says sugar is as addictive, if not more, than Coke, apparently. I don't know if that's completely accurate. And Cool Frog says he thinks it is. Oh, man. I'm telling you, through most of my diet, I went without sugar. I tried my best to eliminate most carbohydrates. I would occasionally have one when I felt like I was having like a blood sugar crash or something. But like heavy breads, I did away with. I occasionally would have like a wheat tortilla or maybe some tortilla chips. But yeah, sugar was off the table, bread was off the table, pizza crust was off the table. Yeah, sugar is in everything nowadays, and they want to keep pushing it. Especially because nowadays the sugars are made out of corn and that's subsidized. Okay, but I wanted to get onto the single mother topic. So on during the Mother's Day holiday, we had just Pearly things on Twitter. Good old Pearl, bad take Pearl said some shit about single mothers. Basically, something along the lines of they didn't deserve to find love or something, or they weren't. I don't remember exactly how it went, but it basically turned into the whole internet talking about why single mothers are worthwhile people and they're real humans and they're adults and they deserve love too. Bulldozer 74 says, "Yeah, I need to get those tortillas." Yeah, they have all kinds of low carb. Okay, yeah. Demon's Wrath said, "Yeah, keto tortillas." My bad. Yeah. Yeah, other brands. Aldi does have them. Other brands have them as well. I highly recommend them. And I've heard some people complain that they don't have much flavor, but again, that's the sugar talking. One of the things I like to do, I have a grill press, so I like to like make myself like a turkey wrap. Right, it's like 200 calories. Make like a turkey wrap. Throw some like peppers and onions and stuff in there, and a little bit of like cheddar and ranch. Yeah, I know cheddar. You got the milk fat and the anyway. A little bit of ranch. You still got fat there too. But then throw it on that grill press and just kind of put a little heat on that. Make it just a little crunchy, and it really the flavor of everything inside will just pop. So yeah, so now the internet has exploded with all these women talking about why single mothers are awesome. And I really wanted to do this stream shortly after Mother's Day, but then I started digging for some of these videos. I couldn't necessarily find the ones I wanted to find because I let it go too long. And nowadays, if you search for something that was trending a week and a half ago, Twitter's just like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Here's something similar now, but it's not the thing," right? And so I kinda in order to kinda think about the humor of the situation and the humor of Mother's Day, and, we talk about the genders here on this show. Yes, Demon's Wrath. Single mothers are never awesome. At best, they're sufficient. That's the best they can hope for. Yeah, but I like to talk about this from a dating perspective. This we talk about the genders and we talk about dating, and definitely I I I try not to criticize someone's parenting because God knows I don't fucking talk to my kids. My kids hate me. Who am I to judge someone else's parenting skills, right? I feel that would make me a hypocrite. Now, granted, if you look at the incarceration rates, a lot of those folks were raised by single mothers. So, I mean, the statistics are what the statistics are, but it's not me, right? Demon's Wrath says raising your kids as a couple, that's awesome. Yep. But occasionally something will happen, and we're frequently inundated with the indoctrination that usually it's just men can't handle commitment and run away after getting a woman knocked up. Uh that was not the case for either of the situations I was in. I was the other man, knocked up a married woman, didn't even know she was married. And then the other situation, my my other child's parent left me for a drug addict. So, uh, fun times. So this is why I do my show, because a lot of it is about your picker, right? And a lot of it is about self-worth versus what you're looking for. And so this conversation about single mothers, no one's saying a single mother is worthless, right? Everyone is worth something. Everyone has value, right? And part of the issue with the life of a single mother is so much time, effort, and attention should be dedicated to the health, safety, and routines of keeping that child on the right track. And whatever time is left, whatever effort is left, whatever resources are left, should be you improving yourself to then be in a better place to then provide for that child. So then, like, the prospect of entering the dating market. This is one of the things as an adult I've come to really worry about. When I was 19, 20, 21, I was really worried that being a single father meant I had less to offer on the dating market, right? Because I had all this other stuff to focus on. I was working 2 jobs to pay all the damn child support. I got lucky, and I met a woman who was in a similar situation, like, not even close to the same situation, but someone who was working on rebuilding her life after it had fallen apart. And while she didn't have kids, she didn't have to deal with the court and all the other stuff. She was on her own. She literally just needed a hand up, and we found each other. We fell in love, and we were together for over 20 years. And so I was lucky enough to not ever have to worry too much about my own value on the dating market. But eventually I did start dating again. And I really spent a lot of time thinking about, well, what does a single mother have to offer me? And what do I have to offer to a single mother? And would I date a woman with kids? Obviously. And really, it's about time, effort, and stress. So no matter what you can bring to the table, no matter what's a woman's bringing to the table, that's what they're taking from it. All right, so let's watch some of these viral videos, shall we? Okay, so here's something I found earlier on the TikTok.
Let's talk dating as a single mom. I get this question all the time. Tips, advice, your experience. Are you seeing anyone? How's that going? And I would love to be able to give advice and tips on how that's going, but it's not going. Because as a single mom, our
Here we
standards
go.
about fucking triple prior to. I already had high standards, and then now you bring my daughter into the thing, and like no one's good enough, right? On top of standards, time. As a single mom, we have little to no me time. So if I'm going to invest the small amount of me time I have into someone else, and you fucking waste it, done. And on top of them not being shit, they don't fucking know how to communicate. My 2-year-old toddler has the capability to tell me what she does or does not want, does or does not like, and how she's feeling. But some way, grown-ass men are not able to use their big boy words to communicate. Weird. Moral of the story is I am not your girl if you want advice.
Okay, I feel like there was a story behind that slam, but she's not going to provide any kind of detail, of course. But this idea that her child is more mature than the men she's dating, I think says a lot.
I can tell you what not to do. I can tell you the men not to go for, but that's basically all I've learned over the last couple of years. So hopefully you have better luck than I do.
Okay. All right. Tell you the men not to go for. Well, yeah, I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could. Good observation there, Demon's Wrath. But what she brings up is kind of a good point. Um, like I said, when examining a potential date, right, you have to think about the stress they will add to your life, whether or not their needs will add stress to your life. And she just said, we have a lot of needs, but we're also picky. Well, part of the issue is you can't have both. And so when you say, well, I know what kind of guys not to date, well, let's be honest. You're a moderately attractive woman. So you're probably attracting moderately attractive guys who don't necessarily want to settle down or want to put up with the bullshit. But yet you're still picky. So you think you're being picky about the good father type qualities, but really you're being picky about the hot guy qualities, maybe? But anyway, so we got this. I'm not gonna play this. Is gonna have music to it. I'm not gonna play the music because, you know. But so she's walking toward. Oop! Just put a movie on. So these are things that guys who date single mothers say to the chicks they're dating. I mean, you are a walking punchline to some degree. Unfortunately, you are also a walking punchline. See, where was the... Okay, yeah, I kind of wanted to bring this up first, and I didn't, because this makes for a great intro. This was originally on Men in Black, and I don't know. I got to call out somebody's shitty video editing here. Why they felt the need to put this like country road on here? Like just show the damn video from Men in Black.
Is it worth it? Oh yeah, it's worth it. If you're strong enough.
Okay, well, I press X to doubt. Press X to doubt. I don't know who the chick who posted that is, but she posted it with hashtag single moms. Look, I'm sure there are lovely fucking women out there. Lovely fucking women out there. Oh, he's walking off into the sunset. Okay. But here's one of them. Here's one of the women. And we covered this video originally on Wednesday, and there has been an update from this woman's ex-husband. So, yeah, this was the chick that was crying while making her own cake.
So I've been sent this video a lot over the last few days. People asking my thoughts and my comments on it. And before anyone says, oh, you don't know her situation or, you don't know what she's going through. Well, I do because I lived it. I'm her ex-husband, and right now I have full custody of our kids. This is our parent agreement. As you can see, I have all weekdays and weekends, time sharing with the kids, all holiday academic breaks. And for her to get any rights back to the kids, these are the things that she needs to do. And yes, child support, she owes that. It's up to over $21,000. So she's a mother and doesn't pay child support.
Uh-oh, she's a deadbeat.
She was then arrested for check fraud, and during that hearing, it turned out that it was found that she stole almost $1 million from another guy.
Oh, no.
And also, she faked cancer in the past. These are scans that she would send and post on her page before. So, to sum it up, this person, for people that follow her, are giving her praise and telling her how strong and how, amazing she's doing. Well, she's really not a full-time mom. She barely has her kids. She goes out all the time.
Oh, such a poor innocent
and
woman.
she doesn't even have a job even. So she just really not someone that other single moms should really be looking towards as for inspiration or anything like that.
So I put that clip.
There are a lot of, hardworking single moms.
I put that clip in my PsyOps Grifts shitposts segment on Wednesday because I was like, yeah, I think this is a little bit of each, but goddamn, I didn't realize it was going to be this fake. So again, when you hear a sob story about a single mother on the internet, tread carefully.
Out there, and a lot of respect to them. All I just want to say is she just isn't one of them. So hopefully everyone can see this video and know, who she really is. Peace.
Okay. Let me go ahead and bring that down for a minute. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the PSAs. I'm going to go back to the PSAs for just a minute, and I'm going to wolf down a little bit of my food for just a few minutes. All right. So yeah, I will be back here in just a couple of minutes. I'm just going to wolf down a little bit of food because yeah, I'm like starving here. I've been turning my camera off to eat a little bit of salad, but yeah, I need a little more. So yeah, I'm gonna show the PSAs real quick and take just a little break, and then I'll get back and we'll talk a little bit about Michaela Peterson.
They said I wouldn't get hooked after the first hit. They said I wouldn't get hooked after the first hit. They lied. Find out the truth about drugs. Drugfreeworld.org.
They lied.
They said drugs would make you cool.
Go in my room. I just asked you. No, shut up, Mom. Tell me to shut up. Get back here. Just say it to my face, dude. What? Just say it, dude. What? Dude, what's wrong with you? Man, forget you guys.
Hey, wake up, sleepyhead. Pay attention in my class.
They said drugs would make you cool. They lied. Find out the truth about drugs. Drugfreeworld.org.
They lied.
He said he'd love me forever if I smoked crack with him.
Oh shit! This is fucked up.
You got the money? Why are you asking me? Listen. All right. Okay.
He said he'd love me forever if I smoked crack with him. He lied. Find out the truth about crack. Drugfreeworld.org.
All right. I'll turn that down now.
They said acid would help me forget.
Okay, so this is acid. Okay, so let's see if I can't find this. Here's one of them. Uh-oh, where did it go? I had it up and now I don't. But I didn't have. I only found like a short clip. Damn it. Hang on, let me see if I can. Okay, I'm just gonna have to play it from here. Fuck. Okay, so this is Rollo Tomasi. He just said, as a single mother,
value as a woman
your value
is
as a woman.
less than somebody who does not have kids. If you're looking for that long-term relationship, which you've said you are, looking for a guy who's like at your age or older, the men who will be looking for what you're looking for aren't looking for you. They're looking for women who are much younger than you and who do not have kids. Do you understand that?
Well, you seem to think that every woman is exactly the same.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop that right there. Now remember, he set up the premise. He set up the premise with a bunch of ifs. Right? He said, if you're looking for these things, if you're doing these things, and if this is what you want, then it's going to be more challenging. Those are a lot of ifs. And she's going to completely ignore the ifs and say, well, every woman isn't the exact same.
But I'm not the same kind of person as the woman you're talking about. I don't have an IQ of 100. I'm not a.
I mean, no, he's literally talking about you. You said you wanted to find a man, a long-term relationship. You said that. You agreed with his premise. Those are literally the women he's talking about. Single mothers looking for a long-term relationship.
Moron. I'm fairly attractive. I don't think I'm going to have an issue. And what I did decide was that I would rather be by myself. My concern wasn't hypergamy. I'm going to go find someone older, wise.
Okay, no one said hypergamy, and if you're saying you want to be by yourself, then that's the opposite of the premise in which you agreed with, that he said if you're looking for a long-term relationship. Now, I get it. There's again, the advice I gave earlier in the case of addiction. There's separating yourself from the situation, focusing on you, building your life, making your life better, and making the life better for your child, that I said about single mothers earlier. But let's face it, most men, most high value men, aren't going to give a shit about those little things you're doing unless you're learning how to cook better, learning how to be a better wife, learning how to be more godly, learning 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 sexual technique without actually practicing it on people. Learning how to be your husband's naughty little girl or whatever. Without racking up a hypergamous body count. Older, wiser,
Smarter, better,
smarter, better,
richer,
richer.
and do that. I just figured, hey, I'll just hunker down and work. At least I'll be happier by myself.
As a single.
Okay. So that's what she said. And there are other clips where she kind of says the same thing, and they kind of go back and forth a little bit. But it's basically that argument. And what she's saying is the right thing, but then it contradicts the other shoe. Like it's hard to build your life while also building the life of your child, while also trying to kind of be all roles of a family at once. Now, there are a whole lot of women who say, well, that's why we need alimony and child support, because then we don't have to be the breadwinner and also the nurturer and also the disciplinarian and also the wise older sage that teaches lessons to young children. We don't need to play all four of those roles at once if we could at least get a little bit of help from daddy government and take half the dad's paycheck in order to help. Then that, to me, then who's teaching the children about responsibility? Who's teaching the children about hard work? Because I'll be honest, as the child of a single mother, my mom worked full time and she worked her ass off and she did try to provide me with the best life she could. She spoiled me in a lot of ways that I wouldn't realize until I was much, much older. And at the age of 13, I considered my mom lucky, lucky because, motherhood to me didn't look super hard. And going to work 10 hours a day didn't seem like it should be super hard. Because again, it was just being on your feet all day. And as a kid, there's nothing more you want to do than just run around on your feet all day because you have all this energy to burn and no injury could make you not want to be on your feet all day, right? And so I wanted to enter the workplace at a very young age. And I was very jealous of my own mother, my own single mother, for her ability to earn income. Because, yeah, my father wasn't holding it down necessarily. But long story short, this is what I saw my mother go through, is what I see a lot of women doing everything possible to avoid nowadays. These kids are not learning hard work. And so the advice I give to these single mothers is accept the situation you're in. Um, I I have noticed on Reddit and other places where a lot of people talk about relationships, there are a lot of kind of lonely dudes out there, a whole lot of lonely dudes out there. Oh man, my vape fell clear to the back underneath my desk. So I have like one of those big elementary school teachers' desks, big metal desks that my computer's on, and yeah, I'm gonna have to dive underneath it for a minute. All right. Can't be without my vape, my other vape. Gotta have both flavors going. I completely lost my train of thought. Please help me, folks. Fun times. I think what I was talking about is responsibility and bringing money to the table. It's real easy to judge. Oh yeah, I was talking about loser dudes. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I've seen in a lot of these online communities like Reddit, yeah, these loser dudes, who just keep asking for help. They keep asking for help. They keep asking for help, and we've definitely seen some of these stories online where eventually they just wind up uh, deleting themselves. Because at some point you have to understand that life is not perfect, that we don't all get a Disney princess ending, right? We don't all get to live out our dream. I've been a very lucky man. I've lived my dream several times over. I've had like completely different life goals in which I aspired to, and then I would achieve them, and then things would come crashing down, and then I would set another goal and achieve my dreams. And so I'm now kind of like on my fourth lifetime. It's kind of ironic, and I consider myself very blessed, very, very blessed that, you know, I have taken a lot of time to pray and work hard and achieve the things that I've achieved. But there are a lot of people that they don't understand that when life happens, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that you can move on. But the first step in moving on, the same with addiction, is to accept the situation you are in for what it is and realize that just because your life right now is completely incompatible with what you think you want, that what you might think you deserve or need or want might wind up changing if you start focusing on yourself, improving yourself, and loving yourself. Now, I'm not one of these, fat women just need to love themselves, right? Just need to accept their body. I'm not trying to go there. Anyway, let's go to more viral videos. I'm like fucking ranting again at this point. Here's another TikTok.
Things I've realized as a single mother dating edition while I get ready for a date night. I have a very clear vision of what I want in a partner now. And considering that I'm a mother, I don't have time to waste anymore. And knowing through experience that I'm able to create a home by myself, I'm not going to be lowering my standards.
Okay, there we go. Now that's where you lost me. That's where you lost me. Is I'm not going to be lowering my standards. Folks, everyone has to understand that while we all aspire to be Rocky Balboa, world heavyweight champion, right? While we all aspire to be Tom Brady, Super Bowl MVP, while we all aspire to be, who's Taylor Swift, Grammy Award winning singer. There's only one best, right? And we all need to kind of come down to fucking earth and realize that, you know what? I don't need to be the best in the world at the most popular thing in the world. Sometimes just being a really good dude, being a really good father, or being a really good mother, or excelling at being a cookie cutter single mother is good enough. This is the problem with our society, is a lot of us have grown up on these fucking Disney movies, right? Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, these Disney princess movies where the fucking prince chooses the fucking loser chick because she was just the right one at the right time, right? That love conquers all. Well, love conquers a lot, but love can be found in a lot of places. And so, while all dudes aspire to be banging a chick that looks like Sydney Sweeney, chances are that dude is eventually going to have to lower his standards. Now, definitely don't lower them to the point where people are dangerous or have no self-respect. But you got to lower your standards. And when she says, I refuse to lower my standards, it's a delusion. The female delusion calculator is a real thing.
And there's nothing I crave more now than being in touch with my feminine side. And although I'm having to be an independent woman for my son, I know that it's still possible to be living in my soft girl era and that the man that I'm dreaming of exists and that I'm not going to have to make him.
That last part.
That I'm not going to have to.
He exists and I'm not going to have to make him. So this is another conundrum here, right? Because look, if you're living your hoe phase, right? If you don't have children, right? You can kind of live your hoe phase, find a bad boy, and maybe tame him a little bit, right? You could find the exciting Prince Charming and tame him a little bit. You can't just take some loser some, drummer or fucking motorcycle guy. No offense to motorcycle guys or drummers out there. I'm just saying. Some of those guys spend a lot more time on drugs and in bars and on motorcycles and in cars than they do their own improving their own life, and that's all dudes have to have an escape. I'm not shitting on anyone for that, but this chick's got a kid. Like, you can't take that and turn just like you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, you can't turn a bad boy into a fucking house husband. You can't turn him into a stepdad. You can't turn him into a father. As much as you hope he exists, you don't have to make him because you could never make him. If you're a single mother, you can't piece a guy together who's just good enough and make him perfect. But at the same time, you're not going to find the perfect guy. So you have to lower your fucking standards. All right. Let's see here. That was the other thing. That's an old video I didn't want to show. Okay, so one last thing I wanted to show. This is yet another video I found when I was searching. So, what happens when you've been a single mom for too fucking long? And now your kids are starting to get grown. And now you're in your bad girl phase still. Well, this is what happens. Well, now you're in your bad girl phase with your daughter.
Brown one lick on the tan, little drip on the next 6 fig on the hand. I feel like a smoke when it's on demand. When I lift both doors and I hit on the gas and zoom.
This is fucking disgusting. This is fucking disgusting.
Get out the fast lane, boom, boom. That's what my ass say, pow.
Nobody wants to see that from either of you. Guarantee 5 years after that, they're both going to be on OnlyFans together. They are. They're going to both be on OnlyFans together.
Would you say that having a daughter has made your dating life harder?
Oh, absolutely. Not everyone wants to be a stepdad. And so that circles back to the question, why am I single? Is probably because of that.
So why are men less likely to want to take on another woman's child that isn't their own?
It's a whole nother responsibility that they didn't sign up for.
Can you still hear that?
I'm on the same boat where I'm...
If you decide to date women who have...
It automatically started playing the next video. But that's, yeah. I mean, that chick was smart. She realizes where she fucked up and why it's fucked up. On that note, folks, I want to take a minute. Now I want to take a minute and just thank everybody out there. Look, I have no problem with single moms, and to be honest, they have grown to be such a huge part of the dating market. Part of the argument is whatever happened to marriage. People aren't getting married anymore, and to tell you the truth, there are a lot of thirsty dudes who probably would not be finding at least enough love and attention for short-term relationships that I honestly think those guys I was talking about earlier, right? That wind up as losers and incels and wind up depressed and offing themselves. I think I really think the easy availability of cheap, pointless sex with single moms has kinda staved off that crisis just a little bit, but it's completely unhealthy for society. It's a complete tragedy. And so you have these women who then poke and prod at just pearly things and Rollo Tomasi, and they say red pill's not the answer. We wanna know what the way forward is, right? Well, the only way forward is for women under the age of 20 or 25, women under the age of 25 to rewire their brain to love the guys they don't necessarily like. That's the unfortunate truth, because we can be violent like the bear. We can be the worst kind of guy. Anyway, I don't know where else to go with that. I feel like I've kinda exhausted everything I had to say about this topic. I mean, if you are a single mother out there, I want you to know, like, I'm not trying to hate on you. I don't envy the place you're at. But we all have situations that we just need to realize we're in this situation. It's not gonna get any better. I gotta make the best of it. What's the best way I can make a cake out of these ingredients and not poison my kid? It's a challenge. It's a chore. And it's dangerous, and I don't envy you, but you have to do it. There's no way around it. And this Michaela Peterson idea of, "Oh, no, no, I'll just improve myself so good that I'm the best mother." The baby needs a daddy. Baby got a daddy. Baby needs a daddy. Baby got a daddy. Well, pick a better daddy. And if you're a young lady who hasn't gotten pregnant yet, be fucking careful. As the father to a young lady who I have not had a chance to talk to in a really long time, I definitely hope she's making better choices than the women. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into that, but I definitely hope she's making intelligent choices. And hopefully you folks out there, you folks out there, hey, keep your heads up. There's a better day ahead. Trust that God has a plan and trust that you can accomplish it. It may not be your plan, it may not be your dream, it may not be the things you pray for, but you never know. You may get something you didn't expect. You may get someone may come into your life that you just totally were not expecting, completely opposite from the person you viewed. And it may be the best thing that could ever happen to you. And again, as I'm wrapping up now, I will also say to the Ricada family and the Imholt family, this may be one of the most volatile weeks of your lives. But if you're careful and you trust in God's plan and you trust in yourself and do the right things, this could be the best thing that ever happened to you. I pray for you folks, just like I pray for single mothers. And all of you all out there in the chat, thank you for stopping by. If I had my whiskey, I'd toast you all. This has been fun. I will be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, for yet another round of this thing we call Mild's Culture Plate. Please join me. I love having people in the chat. And follow me on all 6 platforms down in the description. We're now streaming to all 6 platforms. If I can keep this thing working I'll keep doing it on Rumble Studio. Please click that like button. If you're new here, please follow or subscribe or whatever it is. Till then, till next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. I'll catch you next time on Miles Culture Plate. Good night, everybody.